Imagine you are in your bed, going to sleep. Out of the blue, you see something. A ghost, a monster, or anything you can dream of. A sense of terror fills your mind as you enter a state of being half asleep and half awake. You start sweating, screaming, and flailing your arms about. This escalates for minutes on end until you finally wake up. Eyes still wide, you are fully awake. You try to recall what exactly terrified you, but you can't quite put your finger on it. This is called a night terror. Night terrors usually occur in kids 1 to 13 and very rarely in adults. It is caused by a variety of things such as lack of sleep, stress, changes in sleep schedule, and high fevers. I had these night terrors as a kid when I was about 8. It was at a time when I was very sick with a high fever. I had these almost every night for about a week until my fever got better. All I can remember about them is that I was in my room down in the basement looking up. There was a creature of sorts on my ceiling looking down at me. Other than that, I can't remember much, and what I do remember could just be my mind trying to fill in the blanks with a vivid representation of whatever terrified me. This is very common among people with night terrors. They usually only remember segments of the dream or nothing at all. But this dream isn't like your usual disordered recollection of the day. When you have a night terror, you enter a place in between reality and the dream world, in which the darkest creatures in your mind lay dormant. Whatever you see, feel, or perceive in one of these night terrors, whether it be a monster or just a sense of unease, one thing stays with you. The sheer terror that comes from a place so in between as this. In other words, what lies beneath is the fear of the unknown. Thalassophobia is the fear of deep bodies of water. My experience with this fear is very much on the low end of the spectrum, but yet I can still get where they are coming from. When you look into a deep body of water, you feel a sinking feeling. It's almost overwhelming. You look into the deep and seemingly infinite expanse of water, and you just can't help but feel fear. We know so little about the ocean, and on top of that, we barely scratch the surface of exploration we could do. It is uncharted territory. If we didn't know anything about another country, then we would most likely be apprehensive toward it. It is scarier to face something you know nothing about than to go against something you know well. This is why the deep is so terrifying. It is a vast universe of endless possibilities that are mostly all unknown to humans. Because humans are so absolutist, it is much easier to jump to the conclusion that whatever is down there cannot be good. Paired with this is the fear of the dark, which is rooted in our basic ancestry. In the early days of humanity, the dark was a dangerous place to be. That is where the main predators would be, so there was a deep biological fear built into us as humans. This is the same with the deep ocean, because we don't know what's down there. It could be anything, so it must just be better to stay away from the unknown. The fear of the unknown is mostly built into all of us as humans. It is the mind saying that if you cannot tangibly experience it through your senses, then it is best left untouched. An article from the BBC talking about a recent study states that participants show greater stress if there is a 50% chance that they might receive a shock, for example, compared to situations in which there is 100% certainty that they will be electrocuted. For us humans, it is easier to get the bad things straight up than to have the anxiety of the unknown take over. This is the main reason why people don't like change. When you live one way your entire life, it is extremely difficult to change because you just don't know what's going to happen. This brings me back to night terrors. They are one of the most foreign things a human can experience because they are in a state that you can't really explore. The fear of the unknown can't be worked out, just like these night terrors. You can't just skip ahead to a more known sense of fear. You can't find a feeling of comfort because you are facing the unknown. The only way to get through it is to go through the storm. Brave the cold and sail the sea of uncertainty. In many cases, in your everyday life, you need to submit to the unknown.